This is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells. Today I'm going to take a minute and talk about a few things to do when we get into an exercise space or onto a gym floor. So the basic principle is, what are some things that I can do every time that I get into an exercise space to try to make my space a familiar time or a regular habit? For me, when I think about things to do when getting into my exercise space, I always want to imagine the things that are going to be the most effective for me to do and that are going to be the easiest for me to stay consistent with. So if that's just swinging my arms back and forth a few times, and sometimes I do it and sometimes I don't, then that's not really going to be a regular activity that I'm going to use as part of my exercise ritual, if you will. Instead, I might use a systematized joint mobility routine, which we'll get into, and I might do that for a specific amount of time per joint, just as a way of dialing into my exercise space. That practice is going to give me enough feedback that it's also going to be very easy to recreate each session and stay consistent with. So now I'll just take a moment and talk about a few of the things to do that come to my mind when I think about entering a workout space. So when I start thinking about things to do when getting into a workout space, for me, the first thing that's always gonna come to my mind is gonna be joint mobility, right? So it's just me, my full range of motion, all of the familiar creaks and cracks and pops that might go with me going through those full ranges of motion. It could be with or without a mirror. It could be anything from 5 to 15 repetitions per movement, just some way for me to get in touch with the way that I'm moving and the way that me moving feels today. It's really going to give me a flood of information that's going to go through my mind about how my body's feeling in that moment, about old injuries that I might be dealing with, that I might be recovering from, about certain aspects of my training that I might be working on, right? So if I've been working on my lockout, joint mobility is an opportunity for me to go through that lockout, kind of meditate on that lockout and what it feels like. If I have a crick in my neck, or if I have a history of stiffness in my neck, my joint mobility is going to let me know what that stiffness feels like today in this moment. And it's just going to kind of put me in a headspace where I'm well aware of how my body's feeling, and I'm well aware of how that's going to probably be affected and how it's going to affect my workout. For me, joint mobility is going to act as a bit of a ritual as well. It's going to put me into that headspace that says, I'm here right now, and this is what I'm here to do. But joint mobility is also going to be a place for me to analyze my body, for me to analyze how it's feeling right now and how it's functioning, and how each part is put together. It's also going to give me a chance to intentionally activate each part of my body so that every part is ready for the work that I'm about to get into. It's really preparing me both physically and mentally for what I'm about to do next. So after the joint mobility, I like to do something that's going to activate the core stabilizing muscles and is going to connect me to whatever practice that I'm about to get into. So for kettlebell training and with North Country Kettlebells, a great option for this core stabilizing exercise is going to be the kettlebell arm bar. But before I knew how to lift kettlebells, it might have been a plank or a push-up variation. This is really going to be something that allows me to see how everything is lining up and functioning together today. So again, just like with my joint mobility, this first bit of movement is really going to still allow me to assess how I'm feeling. It's really going to allow my brain to create the connections necessary from one part of my body to the other. And it's really just going to allow me to get a sense of what my lockout is feeling like, what my core engagement is feeling like, and how mentally am I prepared for this practice that I'm about to get into. This is really going to give me an opportunity to hold engagement and to think about how things are working and how everything is lining up. I can see this as skills work for positions that I'm going to be holding in my practice. So by doing a simple movement that mimics a lot of the other movements that I might do in my practice, I'm really just giving myself an opportunity to engage with some of these other ranges of motion, some of these other engagement principles in a way that still allows me to catch up to where I'm going to need to be for my entire workout. Next, I'm just going to do a few rounds of some compound movement sequence. So this could be something like a goblet clean and squat with a two-handed swing, but it could also be a burpee with a sprint, or any number of things that are just going to let me know that I'm here now to work and the work has commenced. Now I look at this next part as a way to activate my task. It's simultaneously a way to let my body know that it's go time and to set the tone for the rest of my workout. So if I'm doing those clean and squats and I'm going into those two-handed swings and I'm using something like a 16 kilo and then I'm going to a 20 kilo and I'm doing the same set, then I'm going to a 24 kilo and I'm doing the same set, and I'm coming off of that set and I'm feeling really, really pumped up and powerful, well then that's how I'm gonna approach the rest of my workout. If by chance I go into that compound movement sequence and I'm feeling off, or like things aren't really coming together, or maybe I'm feeling like I'm not as recovered from the last workout as I need to be to really hit this workout hard, then that's gonna be my opportunity to decide exactly how I'm gonna approach this workout. Is it gonna be an all-out kind of gut-busting sprint, or am I gonna have to take more of a long approach where I'm approaching it more like a marathon, where I'm just gonna try to get to the end of this hour and still feel powerful and functional? Next, I really like to look at something that is a bit of a skills work within my own practice. And so I'm gonna pick something that pertains to my overall goal in training. So for me, that's gonna be something like a clean and push press, or a clean and strict press, or some other clean and press variation. I myself have a lot of goals around overhead press work. It's just is where my passion is within my training. And so each one of my training sessions is probably gonna have something in it that pertains to increasing my overall press weights, or increasing my reps, or increasing my control and my understanding of the movement as a whole. But somewhere in my workout, every workout, you're gonna see something like a clean and press, both because it is pertaining to my overall workout goal, but more importantly, because I really just like doing that movement. Of all the kettlebell movements that I could do, a clean and press is my favorite movement to do. And so you're always gonna see that in my workout as basically my way of telling myself that, hey, this is for me. This is my activity where I should be performing something that I really enjoy doing. But this could also really be anything that gets you going. So for me, again, it's a clean and push press. But before I was using kettlebells, that could have been something like a bench press, or a deadlift, or any other barbell lift that I was focused on at the time. Basically, this section is for doing whatever it is that got us there in the first place. This is also where I'm gonna start to incorporate active recovery sets and what can be seen more as the workout portion of my time. So this is where things are gonna become a little bit more high intensity, right? I might add some sets that are gonna support the work that I'm doing, right? It might take a little bit longer recovery between my sets as well. This is kind of gonna be considered the meat of my workout session. Lastly, when it comes to my time on the mat, I like to finish with something that's a little bit of a longer set, or that has a little bit more repetitions in it. So it's just gonna be a fluid set. I like to use something like a kettlebell snatch for time, or for high reps. So I might do 15 reps, 3 rounds, or something like that. Or I might do 3 minutes of snatching back and forth for 3 rounds with a minute of rest between, right? Something that's just going to really allow me to express myself, right? This is the portion of the work where we're really just gonna be expressing our ability. This is my opportunity to say, I've spent all this time working on myself, I've spent all this time getting myself into this proper headspace with the lifting, and now I'm just gonna express myself. I'm gonna take the brakes off, I'm gonna go all out, and I'm just gonna enjoy what I'm doing, enjoy the ability that I've built. So that's why I like a kettlebell snatch for it. This could also be a long distance finisher on an erg, like a ski erg or a rowing machine. This could be my 2K run that I'm about to do, right? This could be any number of things that are just going to allow me to kind of work out some of the energy that I've built up, and just going to allow me to express myself fully. So whatever that is for you, that's what it's gonna be. And last of all, I like to finish with some level of self-care. So whether that's a hot shower, a cold shower, or it's a sauna, or it's a hot tub, or some self-myofascial release, or a little stretching routine, or even some post-workout joint mobility, something that just allows me to wrap up my entire session and to let me know that I've completed my session and I'm gonna care for myself as I'm transitioning to the next part of my day. Basically, it's whatever makes you feel like your workout session has gotten the complete package. And this is really what it's gonna be all about. What am I doing to care for myself in this entire experience? And my self-care practice at the end of my experience is really just going to be the last example of that. In the past, I've done things like run for a quick swim, or take a really cold shower, or take some time and just meditate on my practice, almost like just laying down and letting my body fully relax into the experience. Something though that is going to let me know that I'm here for myself, to take care of myself, and that in the process of doing that, I'm going to focus a little bit more on what I might need on a deeper level to support this entire exercise session. And that's what it's all about when we're approaching progressive exercise, and especially when we're approaching something like progressive kettlebell training. So there you have it. A few things that I like to do when entering a workout space, and a few of the things that I like to stay consistent with when I'm entering my workout space. The formula is fairly simple. I like to think first, some sort of ritual of arrival. For me, that's going to be joint mobility. Number two, I like to think about some sort of core stabilization activity, right? So for kettlebell lifters through the North Country Kettlebells programs, we use arm bars and the likes, but it could be anything. Planks, it could be a push-up routine, it could be some sort of suspension drill, even just hanging from a bar, but something that's going to allow me to think actively how I am engaging my core musculature. Third, for me, is going to be some type of initiation activity. So just something that lets me know that I'm getting into that workout space. I'm about to start my workout, and I'm kind of setting the tone for that workout. So that could be something like a simple clean and goblet squat set to see what things feel like. It could be a simple swing Tabata to see how things are rolling, or it could be any number of movements that feed your movement passion and are going to kind of let you know, here's the work that we're here to do, so let's get into it. Fourth, for me, as far as things to do, are always going to be passion-based activities. So whatever you like to do, whatever kind of scratches that itch for you, why you exercise. For me, kettlebell push press or a clean and press with 1 or 2 kettlebells, both of significant amounts of weight, are going to be something that really just kind of strokes my passion string. Fifth, I like to think of an ability application. So with kettlebell training, again, that might be something like a snatch Tabata, something that's just going to push me a little bit hard and is going to take where I've gotten myself to as far as ready and active and happy about what I'm doing, and it's just going to put all that to use in a nice challenging format that's going to allow me to push my limit, push up against those edges a little bit, and safely go through my full capacity range. And sixth is going to be something that's rejuvenating, something that is focusing on self-care. So that could be the way that we cool down. It could be a final set of arm bars. It could be some post-workout joint mobility. It could be a stretch, obviously, something that I do before I change my clothes, like a sauna, hot shower, cold shower, swim, any number of things that are going to kind of like wrap up the session and move me on to the rest of my day. Stay consistent, and again, try to use things that are going to be the most effective for you and what it is that you like to do for your workout format. You can always reach out to me through the northcountrykettlebells.com webpage, or through Instagram at NC Kettlebells, or on Facebook, North Country Kettlebells. You can also find me on YouTube and Vimeo just by searching North Country Kettlebells. And as always, feel free to reach out with any questions or comments that you have in regards to what these videos are showing, what you might want to see in a video, or any questions about this video particularly. Again, this is Mujib from North Country Kettlebells talking about things to do when getting into a workout space.